can probably hear my computer overheating. I've got my phone here. I'm gonna play a recording between myself and my public pretender. My public pretender. Oh my god, please work. Alright. I think I moved the table like 3 inches. That fucking kills me. This morning I called 911 about the abuse, as I am allowed to do. And yet again the police showed up to intimidate rather than investigate. They didn't care about the abuse against me. They wanted to bully me for calling 911. Just like 911 does. This is not fucking okay. Now, there's this person, Holly, keeps typing. Wants to be a chat moderator or something. When there's a bunch of idiots typing in chat, I don't need 30 people arguing with the idiots. Especially if they're going to tell me to ignore the idiots, then they're going to type to the idiots. See, the thing is, between you typing with those idiots and you communicating with me one-on-one, I'd rather you communicated with me one-on-one. If you don't want your number out there, then treat this like the emergency that it is. These predators have destroyed any chance that I have of ever having a decent life. Let's play the recording from my attorney yesterday. Now, y'all might think to yourselves that these sound nice and like they're good fellers and all that, but when you really get down to listening to what they're saying, they literally just blow it all off and try to basically make you feel like you're probably going to lose because they don't want to do any work. That's the thing, is that if he had actually paid attention to what I was saying instead of making excuses not to try, oh, they're not going to this, they're not going to that. Really? According to the law, they have to. And my lawyer knows it. Instead, he was wanting to pawn off a bunch of situations of abuse and pretend that the 911 call had nothing to do with abuse. Not cool. Andrew Wolnez and his harassment continues. So yesterday, my public pretender told me it's not safe for me to call 911. Well, obviously. And yet this morning I still had to call 911. Meanwhile, Sadler came out. Did he care why I called 911? No, I was explaining to him why I called 911. He just wanted to talk over me over and over and over again. He was trying to antagonize the situation and insinuate just about anything that he felt would justify him arresting me for calling 911. They're not going to fucking investigate. They're pieces of shit, and so are the goddamn public pretenders. But they say nice things. And you retards are dumb enough to believe anything they tell you. Meanwhile, if you're recording, you realize that my public pretender is telling me that he is afraid that the prosecution and the judge are going to commit felonies. He's wanting to leave evidence and omit evidence because he feels that they will use it out of context. Well, that's illegal, and he knows it. Meanwhile, if I say those things, you pretend that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic who's delusional. But if my public pretender says it, maybe you'll believe him. He also states why he believes I can't get a fair trial here, but he feels that I'd do better with 6 jurors than I would with a judge because the judges here are crooked. They are corrupt. He also admits to knowing so. Lovely. So that guy's going to be my public pretender. So this morning I called 911 about the issues. And of course, I do have to bring up the issue that the police just show up and bully me and leave. That's all they want to do when they show up is bully me, talk over me, dismiss me, send me to somebody else so that they can leave. They don't give a shit. They don't want to do their job for a hobo. Yeah, I have to call to turn in these officers for committing these acts over and over in the past. And calling 911 results in these officers showing up and doing it again. It was Sadler and Neubauer this morning. Meanwhile, the recording that I made, you can't hardly hear it. Holy shit, there was a lot of views though. One of my videos yesterday got like 438 views before the video ended. Pretty significant. There was a gentleman today who helped carry my computer upstairs. Thank goodness for that. Most days people turn me down all day, every day. Today I had 3 homeless people all volunteering to carry it up here for a couple of bucks. People say, why do you pay those homeless people? Why didn't you come to me? People like Candace. Well, I went to Candace. If I go to a homeless person, they may rip me off for a couple of bucks. They might also help me for a couple of bucks. And between them maybe helping me for a couple of bucks today when it's important, and you maybe blowing me off for 5 months with empty promises. And with all due respect, a homeless drug addict is more useful than you are. Who is it that got my computer back when a homeless drug addict stole it in Tacoma, Washington? Was it cops? Did the cops even care? No. It was a homeless drug addict who got those computers back. I let him know what information was on there, including evidence of child molesters, rapists, and murderers. You goddamn right he helped me to get it back. See, is this the last one? Yeah, it looks like it. Anyway, the officers showed up this morning. First, Sadler showed up, and what he wanted to do is talk over me over and over and over again, just like Martinez did last week, where he just said, Sean, 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 Sean. No matter what I say, they're going to make sure I don't get to tell them details. They all make sure that they talk over the details, just like the 911 call today. It's dismissive. It's disrespectful. It's also immoral and illegal. Same thing with my public pretender lying to me about the laws. Instead of following the law, he wants to give me short-term solutions that he wants to pretend are an okay substitution for doing his job. They're not. See, is this the one? When Sadler showed up, he just wanted to repeat over and over again, why'd you call 3 times? Why'd you call 3 times? And I was explaining it. He just kept talking over me. I don't know if you're able to hear that. I can't. They literally have to prevent any and all evidence of abuse against me from being turned into the courts in order for them to pretend like I called 911 for no reason. The abuse this morning shows that it's not for no reason. lot of people get angry with me because my stuff isn't all fine-tuned and fine-edited. I can't always. Well, we'll make sure we play this one, I guess. There's a lot of them on here. This one is the one from the actual visit, so I guess we'll play it. I do apologize if there's parts you can't hear. I might listen to it later and plug this thing in so I can make it loud enough to hear what's said in the background. Actually, I should be able to do that, shouldn't I? To do that now. We'll see if I can. Turn on the Bluetooth.
Power on. Pairing. Connected.
Done. The 911 call this morning, the 911 operator wanted to be a dick. He already knew who I was, and he already knew what I was trying to turn in. He also was not addressing the safety issue with the police. They never do. So, what did he do? I had to call back because he hung up on me. They're literally going out of their way to ignore victims of violent crimes and hang up on us. So we have to call back. And then this guy that was on the phone this morning, I couldn't hear a word he was saying. It's like he turned his volume all the way down after the first call, and I had to repeat myself over and over again. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And then he hung up on me again. So I had to call back and say, I can barely hear the words that are coming out of your mouth. I can't hear them well enough to understand them. You are being too quiet. And he repetitively repeated the same thing over and over and over again. Now, could I understand what it was that he was saying? No. But I understood the repetitive nature of the sounds that I was hearing. The same thing every time. He was just saying it's super, super, super. These different services say if I'm being abused, to call 911. All 911 predators. You say my public pretender is supposed to defend me. They're knocking me off and blowing off the evidence. We can't be.
A long walk from my car.
Blowing off the whole reason that I called 911 and wanting to talk me out of turning in the reasons that I called 911. The issues that I called 911 for, they still exist because I still had to deal with it this morning. Now this.
I make sure I carry things for my safety. That's about my only saving grace.
This guy here states outright it's unsafe for me to call 911. He also speaks about his fears of how the prosecution will proceed with this, and of course how they can use my words against me. No, they can't. They're not allowed to use them out of context. It's illegal. My lawyer in this, you get to hear how he literally just talks over all of that. Now, he does listen very well at the beginning, but then again, he talks over all of the abuse, does not address it, does not care. He's helping the prosecution railroad me and run me over. Not happening. No matter how nice he is about it. Maybe I can look up some other
Prosecuting
videos and link
attorney
them.
is gonna do what they always do when it's a homeless, disabled man. They're gonna pretend I'm an idiot, basically. Malicious prosecution and all that. There's a lot of abuse that I'm enduring. People don't just call up 911 for no reason. And the thing is that the safety issues created by the police when I first got here, specifically Hoffman, Martinez, and
Trent Olson.
Trent Olson, that was just to begin with. It was unsafe to go to the police here. And a lot of people are harming me here. They do this everywhere because of my friend Natalie Bollinger, who was killed. This is some screenshots of repeated over and over again harassment calls. This is one of the guys that I'm trying to turn in, including on that call that I made. This is his daughter messaging me about him doing these things to other people. I was able to get a protection order against him, but the courts gave my safe number to Andrew Wolnez, and he's been doing this stuff nonstop, literally since right after court.
I do want to say this guy listens very well at the beginning. Very well.
I can do this literally for about 5 minutes. I believe
Just scrolling through. I'll show you.
I'm petrified when I go to
This is what I
the
was
cops
doing.
about it. I call
These are
911.
from today, by the
The
way.
cops tell me to go to mental health. Mental health tells me it's not their job to investigate. I got to go to the cops, and then they send me basically a magic carpet ride of a bunch of places that tell me it's not the job to do anything against adults.
Restricted numbers.
I told that I'm too old and things
Thank you,
of that nature.
Andrew. That's right.
No,
These are all from this
you
morning.
get
That's from yesterday.
children, disabled, or seniors in at-risk situations. And because
Still
of
from
the death of
yesterday.
Natalie Bollinger and how popular it is, and the situation with Amy, which, by the way, did you get to see any of the stuff I
I
sent you?
reviewed some of the things you sent me. I didn't have time to watch all the videos in detail, but I at least reviewed what they were.
There's a lot of videos of assaults against me. There's
Just
dozens
nonstop.
and
That's
dozens
still
and
all from
dozens.
Friday. I mean, it's
There's also
Friday on my
recorded
phone.
calls with me being blown off.
I'm still
988.
scrolling through from the
All
stuff from
988
Friday.
cares about is if I want to harm myself or others. I was told as a disabled person with the backup places where to go if I'm being abused. Places like the hospital, places like the social services office, health and human services, Northwest Senior Disability Services is one of the
And you have to go on alone. They
examples
don't
of who's
miss.
supposed to be adult protective services.
You have to go
But then they
under
refuse to do the
CPK.
job that I'm sent to them for, which is the adult protective services part. What they want to do is the Northwest Senior and Disability Services part, which includes apparently ignoring the adult protective services part and try to convince us that we can't turn it in there. Well, the police need to stop sending us around in circles. TFCC needs to stop sending us around in circles. I'm not the only person going through this. There's also the fact that I'm autistic and I do have documentation. The problem is that
By the way, I was
the
showing this
police
stuff.
won't put
that I was
it in my
telling you.
documentation. I can't physically bring you 15 bags of paper evidence. I can't physically.
I brought up one bag of paper evidence, and somebody else had to carry it for me.
Northwest Senior and Disability Services almost listened the first time I went in there with somebody else. That was it. After that, and before that, I had to go in by myself, and they treated me extremely inhumane. I do have stuff in here from various witnesses. There's a lot in that paperwork as well.
I will scan, see, this page might be a little bit.
Now I know that I don't have the video quality for you guys to actually read what's on here, which sucks. I did save evidence of stuff from Andrew Wolnez. Nathan helped take this one and to get it printed off. This is from the very first time that he started victimizing me. This one also has both Andrew Wolnez and another one of my long-term predators on YouTube. You guys might recognize the name at the bottom, Fred Turner. Yeah. This is Andrew Wolnez, of course. Now, he can't go back because of things that he did. He chose to victimize not just myself, but also employees there. You can't have it, especially not at work. They see a lot of people at work, same as I do. I see a lot of people at the Safeway who have given me a lot of issues outside of the Safeway, but I just have to suck it up like a big boy. A lot of the people at Safeway, well, they're mad at me. A few of them anyway, the ones at the deli. But you know what? They're not afraid that I would hurt them. They're not pretending like I would try to hurt them. They're just mad at me. They act mad at me. They give me the cold shoulder and all that, but they're not pretending I'm trying to hurt them. They're not beating on my vehicle. We can both occupy the same space and be civil adults about it. Andrew Wolnez cannot. Now there's also Andrew Wolnez getting on and trying to pretend like I murdered Natalie Bollinger. Now this is what he's been trying to use as one of his excuses for harming me from the very start. There's also, let me try to make sure I don't give you away some of his contact information. We'll just fold it here. This is one of the witnesses to Andrew Wolnez and his BS. And she does work at the Safeway. The problem is getting my public defender to look at it and take it seriously. If they want to pretend that the Andrew Wolnez situation has nothing to do with this, they're dead wrong. This person calls themselves a person who knows, and we'll read this. This is because Andrew Wolnez was pretending that I murdered Natalie Bollinger, calling me a sicko and a pervert and all sorts of other shit. This person typed he didn't murder her, that was someone else. People indeed thought he did, but it was someone else. Andrew Wolnez replied, the point is that it's on record that he was not friends with her. Actually, the messages between Natalie Bollinger and I show on record we were friends. Pretending that we were never friends is just stupid. We were friends. She was my friend and I was hers. There's also the evidence that shows she thought she was in love with me, but he doesn't know that because he doesn't care. He's just digging for excuses to harm people. He typed, the point is that it's on record that he was not friends with her. She was terrified of him. She claimed to be terrified of me, but she wasn't. She was terrified that people would believe me about the drug addiction and about the abuse. And guess what? They did believe me. And why did they believe me? Well, after she was dead, it was pretty obvious she had a lethal amount of heroin in her system. It's kind of difficult to hide that. Anyway, he typed, and had a no contact order against him. Now, does this justify Andrew Wolnez assaulting me? Does any of this here, even if it were true, does any of that justify Andrew Wolnez stalking me? physically assaulting me on my vehicle, accusing me of being a pedophile and a rapist and a murderer. Andrew Wolnez is admitting right here that he doesn't care that what he's saying is a lie. He is doing it intentionally to harm me. He is doing it intentionally to harm me. It says he continues to lie and slander my name about being a pedophile of my 6 kids. Well, I didn't accuse him of being a pedophile of his 6 kids. He did accuse me of being a pedophile. Now, did I accuse him of being a pedophile of his 6 kids? No, I didn't. I stated facts. Statistically, he's more likely to molest his kids than I am because he's a parent. He wanted to go calling me a pedophile in that very first video. Wanted to accuse me of being a pedophile as his excuse for assaulting me. And that very same video, assault me again. It makes it okay for him to assault me because he pretends I'm a pedophile. It makes it okay for him to assault me because he pretends that I'm a murderer. Show in court because of public pretenders who are useless pieces of shit. They don't give a fuck about the truth. They get paid whether they win or lose. They'll give you just enough to pacify you. Short of that, they don't give a fuck if you get ass raped in prison for a crime you didn't commit. They don't care. And of course, Wolnez doesn't care either. He'll sell a false narrative, same as any other predator, and you will eat it up. He said he continues to lie and slander my name about being a pedophile of my 6 kids. No, I didn't lie or slander your name about being a pedophile of your 6 kids. I've never accused you of touching your kids inappropriately in a sexual manner. And your own kids accuse you of other stuff. Now, am I going to go running off all the things that your kids accuse you of? No. Not for Andrew Wolnez, not for Teresa Orn, unless it's absolutely necessary. Holly replied, Dogged Roan, I have been reaching out, but you get upset. No, she hasn't been reaching out. She's been arguing on fucking YouTube. That's not reaching out. That's not listening one-on-one. Now let's continue with this. Now, did I accuse him of being a pedophile? Absolutely, I did. You accuse me of being a pedophile, I'll accuse you back. Problem. Fair and equal. Mostly mind-fucking him to force a change of behavior. See, he's just playing head games, and he thinks it's okay. What change in behavior? He needs to leave me the fuck alone, not the other way around. He's the one who approaches me 100% of the time. He's the one that calls me 100% of the time. It's never, ever been the other way around. He also types, the things I say don't have to be factual as long as I get close with the subject matter. He doesn't know any different. Yeah. Maybe the cops should pay attention to this, but they're not going to because they'll go to fucking prison. If they lend an ear to any of the crimes committed against me, it also lends an ear to the crimes that they committed against me. God bless America. This person typed back, well, if you lie, that's not making you in a good light. And apparently they were friends, but yeah, overstepped his bounds. Well, I didn't overstep my bounds. I cursed because people were hurting me. You want to pretend that people physically assaulting me is okay? You want to pretend that me saying knock it off is a wrong thing to do when people are assaulting me, when they're threatening to kill me and threatening to kill my friends and family? Meanwhile, this person doesn't know if I overstepped my bounds or not because they haven't bothered to hear my side of it. And they're not going to hear my side of it. That's not because I'm not trying to tell my side. It's because this person doesn't care. They've already decided. Now, Andrew Wolnez admitted first of all, to doing and saying the things that I said he was. He knows that he's outright slandering my name and that he is assaulting me over that slander. He has admitted to it outright. Now let's continue reading this person, what they wrote. He typed, he never really shows the damning evidence that she told him to go over by her because she said she was going to kill herself if he didn't stop her. Natalie never said that she was going to kill herself if I didn't stop her. It also didn't say to go over by her. Now, the evidence that she told me that I needed to go to Virginia, the evidence that she was suicidal, the evidence that she invited me to Virginia, yes, that has all been provided. Now, this person, calling themselves a person who knows, what does that person knows? They're typing out their ass, same as Andrew Wolnez. No, Natalie did not say, let me read this, because this is a bunch of people. This is what telephone is. I tell you the truth. You reword it just a little bit. The next person rewords it just a little bit. The next person down rewords it a little bit and adds some of their opinion. Pretty soon, when it comes back around to you, it's nowhere near close being what it is you said to begin with. Andrew Wolnez right here types, it's not lying. It's called chess, not checkers. 90% of my facts are true. No, they're not. They're not facts. If they were facts, they would be 100% true. That's what a fact is. It is a truth. He pretends, he says right here, in his own words, that he knows what he's saying is a lie. And then he claims that it's not a lie. Claims that it's chess, not checkers. No, it's leave me the fuck alone, dude. I'm not playing games. The cops are playing games. Wolnez is playing games. I'm not playing games. Anyway, he types, it's amazing what you can do with a little education, except he doesn't have an education. I've got a whole crap ton of evidence nobody wants to look at. Why do I have to deal with these predators? Because instead of looking at evidence, I'm abused. Not smart. He typed, don't get on a debate match with me because I'll figuratively mop the floor with you. That's what he's typing to this, a person who knows person. He'll mop the floor with him. He typed, I've been antagonized and fucked with too much by this idiot. Nobody's fucking antagonized him or fucked with him. I'm speaking up about the abuse. That's not antagonizing. I'm not the one walking by his vehicle throwing shit at it. I'm not the one beating on his vehicle. I'm not the one threatening to kill his dumbass. So he also typed, so I'm loaded and ready to spit some React conversations. Well, great for him. And then there's another one on my predators calling himself Nope Nope. He's also one of the people who harasses anywhere that I go, including the Safeway. This is predatory. These people are going out of their way to cut me off resources. Yes, it's illegal as fuck. But what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Okay, so, but before you leave, I would like to scan all of this in the database.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I'll be able to scan those into your data, into my database. I mean, I don't have any doubts that you have autism. You don't need to prove it.
Well, the problem is that the officers are trying to pretend like I'm just some mentally ill, crazy person, and my documentation shows that that's not the case. The situation is that my best friend was killed, and it's very popular on the internet and debate. One of the places that I went to, the situation is that my best friend was killed, and it's very popular on the internet and debate. One of the places that I went to, orders close behind so whatsoever. I'm having to endure here. She wrote it down a little bit, but the actual situation is recorded, and it's disgusting.
Does she have a phone number?
I literally just saw her before I came here and asked her that. She was getting ready to go. They have to go take care of her mom. Here's some of the other paperwork. That's not it.
Some of this stuff here.
This right here is from a hospital visit to the hospital here last year. I was trying to turn in Officer Lawson, and I was also trying to turn in CFCC by this point. These are the instructions that I've been trying to follow for years. I grew up in the system. I'm familiar with all this stuff. I'm also familiar with people's disabilities. I've got dozens of recordings on schizophrenic nor delusional, including stuff from legal professionals about that. There's also the fact that I have to try to find officers and they're using their power to have repeatedly run through the courts and denied my rights to turn them in because of it. There's a lot of witnesses they've lied to, intimidated, threatened, harassed. Sorry, I'm trying to find very specific ones from Marcia's product. If I have an email address, I can try to send some stuff through my phone, but the problem is that I can't do that for everything. My physical disability would prevent it.
You mentioned that you didn't have a functioning email address.
No, I do have a functioning email
What is it? I
address.
can answer that.
It's doggedlearner@gmail.com.
Good. In that case, I can just send that to you. I can copy that. I do have a copy of your case file right here.
Oh, there's one from another witness to the abuse. It does have her phone number on it. I do have copies of it in there. Her name is Mona. And the problem here is that the stuff that was done to me, it's not civil. It's criminal acts committed against an at-risk adult, and you know it.
He's going to listen a little bit about some of this stuff, but he's literally going to talk over all of it and try to infer that the judge and the DA's office are going to commit felonies. Now, does he outright say that they're felonies? No, he doesn't, but he does state outright how he feels and fears that this stuff will be abused. You get to hear how the officers, they state things outright as if it must be true, whether it's a goddamn lie or not. Every officer does this. There isn't a single officer that you'll ever meet that doesn't. This one right here is from Natalie Bollinger. About the day when she was 13 or 14 and I ran her off for being in the sleeping bags with Emery and Arturo. She also, you can see there, she typed that she thought she was in love with me. So Natalie wanted more than just friendship. I just didn't want her fucking killing herself. Now, how many of y'all record every single conversation with your friends? None of you? Now, you'll believe anything that somebody says unless there's a recording that shows otherwise. As far as my life goes, because once you've decided that somebody's mentally ill, you've taken away all of their rights and all of their autonomy, and that is not okay. So between my words, my sister's words, and Natalie Bollinger's words, already we've got a whole bunch of stuff that shows, well, the narrative being sold is bullshit. Here, this is from my birthday, 2016. Now, is she some little 13-year-old that I followed to Virginia to try to have sex with? Obviously not. This is from the day before my birthday. She wanted to give me something before my birthday. I was just glad she was alive. Yep, that was for my birthday. This is somebody who I was supposedly stalking in Virginia. Like, yeah, we were friends. Now I had people do what the cops wanted because the internet says that me and Natalie weren't friends. How would you know without looking at evidence? You just gonna believe what you read on the internet? You're just gonna believe what you're told? That's why I save evidence. But my public pretender is going out of his way to ignore all of this or to insinuate that the judge and the the DA's office are going to commit felonies. All right, into the situation. This is all stuff that I tried to show the public to begin with. Now, how many of y'all have seen most of this? None. You see little bits and pieces that are taken out of context by a bunch of people who are predatory, like Andrew Wolnez. Nobody gives two shits about the abuse that I have to go through.
The thing there is they keep sending me to mental health instead of doing their job. There's a lot of mandated reporters in this state who, well, it's nationwide, they seem to think that they're optional reporters. Ah, here it is. Police officers tried to have me diagnosed with schizophrenia, and my mom's Colorado,
And they failed.
From Nebraska. They did this because I was trying to turn in officers involved with that. This is literally follows me from Chesapeake, Virginia, all the way here. As far as Natalie's death, I had nothing to do with it, but nobody cares. It's popular on the internet. And a lot of people here in town are really into the internet. The situations with people assaulting me is well documented, but the police won't listen to it. They won't document anything. All of the places and people they're sending me to are telling me it's not their job. It's literally nobody's job. I've got documentation of people making fake accounts, people who wanted to harass me on the internet and then play victim. I've got recording after recording of me being assaulted, people throwing stuff at my vehicle, and also, of course, having to go to public defenders who you probably already know. Most public defenders we call public pretenders, and there's a trust issue there. A lot of people believe that they can just railroad us, and they do. Some of these are just pictures of people who are dead over the situation, and that's one of the things that is really scary. Police officers have repeatedly lied about me, lied about the other witnesses, refused to talk to witnesses, and that's because I keep being sent to officers who know I'm trying to turn them in. My YouTube channel is specifically for turning in all the stuff that the police aren't listening to and won't look at. If I have one to put here. Yeah. Here's one from Mom, I think you can see.
Right, I'll scan this in with the others. I'll be returning all of this to you after I scan it in.
Yes, sir. I'll try not to fill you in with too much of it for right now, but the thing is that they're trying to ignore any and all abuse against me. Officer Martinez has repeatedly assisted in threatening and harassing me. They're also running around telling homeless people that I wanted to murder in Colorado. That's what Andrew Wolnez is trying to accuse me of. He's also trying to accuse me of being a pedophile. He's trying to accuse me of being a child abuser. I literally have zero history of child abuse, zero history of sexual anything. Like, I am a straight and narrow person. The problem is that I'm forced into a very desperate situation. People are allowed to assault me, and then they call me mentally ill. They do stuff on the internet, try to threaten, harass, intimidate, or otherwise convince people not to help me, not to listen to me, or to harm me. Or, like in the situation with Safeway, a lot of those people are nice to me. They're trying to be good to me. They're going above and beyond because the police aren't doing their job, and they're refusing to do their job. They're forcing me to jump through a bunch of hoops that I'm not capable of jumping through.
The other thing is, regardless of their nice intentions, these people are all procrastinators. They're all time wasters. They all want to talk about hurting people instead of helping the victim turn in their predator right away. That's how you stop abuse. Help the victim turn in the predator right away. It doesn't mean make them go back to their predators by themselves and let them be talked over.
The fact that I'm being pawned off on drug addicts. I don't do drugs. This guy right here, this is Andrew Wolnez, the guy there who's complaining they've got a protection order. I've got a protection order. Safeway has no trespassing order, and one of the ladies there that he's been harassing has also got. That's the one whose daughter contacted.
I saw this video.
Yeah, and in that one, he does reference Natalie Volunteer, claims that I killed her, and a lot of other things. And this is after almost 5 months of abuse that this video is here. This is after he's been told that he's not allowed on the Safeway property. And here he is harassing me over and over again and harassing Safeway. And that's literally the only safe place that I have. Anywhere that I've gone in town, him and them youngins from the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot harassed me and assaulted me. Those youngins from the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot still keep that up. The very first video with him, it starts off with him referencing those things and that he's bullying me because I wrote about some kids. No, I wrote at them, calling me the N-word, throwing stuff at my vehicle, bullying as a group, all over a homeless man named Christian Alexander, who just happened to be black. One day he was walking by my vehicle. He was also threatening to kill people. So I started recording because that's a scary situation. Now, if I tell Christian no to a cigarette or anything else, I know from experience with Christian that there's a possibility he's going to go breaking and vandalizing. In that video, you can hear him screaming at those youngins and threatening to kill him. And of course, they targeted me. And they didn't let it go and haven't let it go and haven't left me alone. I've gone to the police about it. They give me the mentally ill treatment and send me on to mental health. They also keep trying to do this whole color of law crap where they literally will be as vague as possible about what I need to do to turn it in. Or they'll try to do the same thing my bullies are doing. While they're literally threatening me with bodily harm, trying to, bully me into leaving Tillamook. This is something I have to deal with anywhere that I go because it's an active volunteer situation. People like wolnez, anywhere that I go. And then the police telling people, like when Candace from Safeway was trying to help me turn it in, Officer Martinez showed up and told her that I brought her on myself. That shows that he's already assumed my guilt. He's already decided that he's judge, jury, and executioner. That's just how it's going to be, and he's just going to talk over anything that anybody says. Then when I had to try to turn it in after getting a protection order, it's the same thing. And that's why I've been trying to address the safety issues with the police since I got here. There is no reason that these officers should be treating me like I'm a drug addict who's here for free handouts. There is no reason that the hospital should be treating me like I'm a druggie who's in there trying to fake it for free meds. There's no reason for it. I was assaulted at the hospital by a doctor for trying to turn in the abuse by the police and by the youngins at Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot. They didn't care. There's also the stalking by Robert Farnsworth and the stalking by a lady named Molly when I first got here, and the situation with a guy named Tom involving Molly and her repeated threats against me and her repeatedly slandering me to the homeless. And then there's Officer Officer Martinez and Officer Lothman are going around telling the homeless people that I'm wanted for a murder that I didn't friggin' commit. Obviously, the guy's in prison. His name's Joseph Michael Lopez. And then I keep getting told by public defenders, oh, well, we can't look at this and we can't look at that. I'm like, you know, the context is important. And I can show that they're literally going out of their way to change the context of the situation, talk over me, and sell their own narrative over the top of me. Like Martinez did the other day. He just wanted to say Sean, 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 anytime that I tell him about the crimes committed against me or any other officer here. They talk over me or send me to mental health. That's not okay. Like I've literally been assaulted everywhere that I've moved. I've been told that these things that I need to do, turn in these predators, that I can do it anywhere because the laws are federal. When I get to the new place, they tell me, oh, well, no, we can only do something about things that are happening here. You have.
We're about 18 minutes into an hour and a half long video that I can only record because this is the phone that I have that has my YouTube on it. I also have to have this to record stuff that's live. If I record it live, not online, then it saves it to my phone, but it eats up a lot of memory. But it makes it so that I don't have issues like I did this morning. Holly typed, you look good. Well, no, I don't. I feel like shit. I'm going through hell. I didn't get any goddamn sleep last night, and I had to deal with bully cops and bullies at 911 first thing this morning. I don't have anyone helping me to turn this in. Nobody's making these calls with me. Nobody. If they do, it might be one call 6 months from now. I have court on Monday, Holly. You've been here a whole week. You haven't done anything helpful. You argue with people in my chat, and that doesn't help. And that's not me trying to say that you're a bad person. That's me trying to address the issue. I'm being abused. I'm being assaulted frequently and often. Instead of typing your opinions and asking a bunch of questions that don't have anything to do with my abuse, it would be appreciative if you would try talking with me one-on-one, whether that be through Gmail or through the telephone. I mean, it's better than me having to do all this stuff live on YouTube. There's a lot of people who are pissed off that their numbers and words are on my YouTube channel. Well, you know what? If you're not focusing on you and not talking about yourself nonstop, you shouldn't care what's posted up. Now, if you're going to help somebody and your idea of helping them is talking about your 3-year-old and somebody who molested them in an open case that you have right now that you don't need help with, but you want to talk about, that's obviously going to be information that you wouldn't want posted publicly. So obviously it's something you shouldn't talk with me about. A lot of people get into a habit of that. They get into the habit of not trying to understand that I have to record everything for my safety so I can prove it happened. Because if you throw a tantrum and decide that you're not coming back, that doesn't detract from the fact that I told the truth, and I need to have evidence of the truth. I don't need to be dependent on people who are going to throw a tantrum because they didn't get what they wanted. Now, there's a lot of people who have done that, and there's also a lot of newcomers who want to say, oh, well, I haven't done that. Well, that should be followed by 3 dots and a yet. Well, he typed, are you still getting hurt still? Yes, ma'am, every day. That's the thing about calling 911, is that I'm harmed every day. Holly typed, you're calm today, very good. No, I'm not calm today, not even close. I'm scared shitless. I need help. Holly typed, you're doing really good today. No, I'm not. For once in about 6 weeks, I had somebody carry my computer up here for me so that I'd be able to use my computer. By the way, I hired the people that nearly all of you tell me not to hire. Don't hire those drug addicts. They'll take advantage of you. Well, it's better than waiting on you to do something for free that you never get around to because it's free. And then you're going to throw in my face that your free stuff that doesn't exist is free. It's not free and it doesn't exist. It hasn't happened yet. Lots of people wanted me to give them credit for things that they promised to do. Then they wanted to be angry when they didn't follow through, and I was pissed. They wanted to go, oh, well, I did this and I did that. No, you promised, you didn't follow through. Ollie typed, you're not flipping out. No, I am flipping out. All right, I need someone to actually listen to me and understand instead of assuming. Like literally everything you've typed here has been wrong. It's your opinions, though. Those are your opinions, because I'm not screaming or yelling at the top of my lungs that I'm not flipping out. No, I'm scared shitless. I'm making yet another video on my YouTube channel because I don't have anyone to make these calls with me. I don't have anyone who's going to talk to these people with me and tell them I'm being harmed. I like type how much to fix your car, and I don't want to get in trouble. How much is the car repair? Well, that's the thing, not wanting to get in trouble. Who are you wanting to get in trouble with? And second of all, I don't know how much my car repair is. I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the money to go travel to a mechanic and have them come down to my vehicle and tell me. I don't have the money for a tow truck. I don't have the money for any of that. I was lucky that I was able to hire a homeless person $2 to carry my computer upstairs for me all the way from my car. Trying to find help moving my vehicle takes 2 to 3 days sometimes. And I can't just keep moving it from place to place. Oh, it says, I don't want you to get in trouble. How much is the car to repair? Well, that also makes sense too. But don't worry about me getting in trouble. The only thing keeping me in trouble is the number of people trying to hide the truth and hide the evidence and pretend that they're doing it to do me a favor. I'm sick of that. I asked for honesty out of everyone. Everyone. And what do I get in return? Bullshit and lied at. Holly typed, you called 911 again last night. I called him this morning, actually. And if you notice, it didn't record very well, did it? It didn't save a very good recording, did it? Which means that in order to get the recording of what happened last night so that I can prove that it actually happened to you so that you might actually help to turn it in, it means that I have to go in there and try to turn it in to begin with and fill out a bunch of paperwork to requisition the body camera evidence from that officer as well as their evidence from 911. Meanwhile, they're going to make that impossible to do, same as they've done with everything else, because you're not doing anything to help. None of you type here are. Typing to me, typing to the peanut gallery, telling me you agree with me. That doesn't matter on my channel. What matters is, are you turning it in with me? Are you telling those things to the police with me? Are you telling those things to the courts with me? And when you say, I don't know how, well, you do know how. Write it down. Anything you're typing to me here, you can write that down, can't you? You can type that in a letter. You can send it to my email. But when you force me to do it this way, it makes it very difficult. Holly typed, that's why you're going to court. Why did you call them? I called them because I needed something done about the abuse. The repeated honking, the beatings, the literally not doing their job to investigate assaults. I still haven't been allowed to turn in the assaults. Do you not understand that? Assault after assault after assault. What the hell do you think I want your help with, Holly? Turning in the assaults. I need you to look at the videos of the assault and state loud and clearly what it is that happens in those videos. Instead of letting the police talk over me every single time. Holly typed, they hurt you last night. How about we focus on the fact they've been doing it for 7 months? Sorry, 16 months. Yes, they've hurt me repeatedly. That includes those repeated calls to me, those restricted numbers over and over and over again from a man who's got a history of assaulting me. Yes, they hurt me last night. Yes, they harassed me last night. They do it every night. What part of every night do you not understand, Holly? See, that's the thing, is that you're typing a bunch of questions and we're focusing on you. We're focusing on your questions. We're not focusing on my experience. Again, yes, he calls every night. Holly typed Andrew called last night. Yes, every night, Holly, every single night. Here's the thing. I said every single time that you're on here, I explain he does this every single night. Every single night. Every single night means every single night. That means, yes, last night. It means he also did it again today. He does this every day, every day, every day. Holly, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. I'm going to answer this question for the next 100 times that you're going to ask it. Yes, every day, 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 every day. He does this every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. See, that's the thing about asking the same question 4,000 times, is that I've already answered it 4,000 times.
All that other jurisdiction to turn in the stuff that happened there. So I call up the other jurisdiction. They won't do anything because I'm not there. I'm told by the officers when I'm trying to turn them in, and Hoffman shows up and bullies me. Sometimes they do it as a group. Like, that's what the state troopers are telling me I have to do. I have to turn them into themselves. They're refusing to do the job, first of all, and they're threatening, harassing, and intimidating me when I do. When I make the effort. They're either telling me it's not their job, they can't investigate themselves. I need to go to the state troopers. State troopers say, well, we don't police the police. You have to turn them into themselves, and just back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, there's at least 100 assaults or abuses against myself and my property recorded on my channel. Not just from Andrew Wolnez, but also from the members. And then they're pissed off that they were recorded doing it. And the police officers refuse to look at any of the evidence, any of the video evidence, any of that stuff. They're telling people that it's a back and forth thing and that it's well documented. No, what it is Andrew Wolnez bullying me. He got busted. He wants to pretend like he's the victim. Just like those youngins targeted me. They want to pretend like they're the victims. Meanwhile, I got recording after recording with the police bullying me, harassing me, threatening me.
Hollywood's terrible is having to depend on a bunch of people on YouTube who are just going to type. That's terrible. What's terrible is not having friends or family members that I can go to, and the ones who claim that they care will literally take 5 months to not turn anything in. You know why I'm pissed off at Nathan and Candy? Because we agreed on the safety issues and protocols, and that doing it the way that we did it was the wrong way to do it, but yet Nathan and Candy forced that situation. Neither one of them knew shit about what was going on. They just wanted to pawn me off on the cops without an advocate present. Nathan was not capable of being an advocate. He didn't know what the fuck was going on, and he never does. Safety protocols. First of all, you make sure that you don't go in by yourself because you are too easy to be victimized systemically. It is too easy for the police to pull all of these tricks that I'm complaining about. This is the reason for going in with a friend or family member, so that it's not your word versus the officers. It's also the reason for recording it. Both of those help to keep the victim safe from systemic abuse. Going in informed. That's why it's important. Like with Nathan, he was at work. Did he find out what was going on before he went outside and was trying to advocate? No, he didn't. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Holly typed, I messed up on this scarf. Well, it's a scarf. You can make another one. You can back it up. That's one of the great things about crochet is you can back it up. Just pull it out and extend it a little bit. Pretty easy to do. Just make sure you don't miss your count. The thing is, I've got a very limited amount of time. It's Saturday. I've got 3 hours in this room, and my time in this room is almost up. It's going to take me about 45 minutes for the computer to shut down. As far as the protocols for an abused and at-risk adult, they're supposed to take the situation seriously, turn it in immediately, and investigate. And police have literally gone out of their way not to investigate, to bully me for trying to turn in the predators that I've had to turn in. Do you think the hospital was nice to me when I had to try to turn in cops there? No, they allowed the cops that I was trying to turn in to come to the hospital and bully me. And then when I had to try to turn in the hospital, I'm forced to turn them into the police, who I'm already trying to turn in at the hospital. You see how this doesn't work, especially in a small town? Meanwhile, this town is still 5 times the size of Chapel. Also, these places keep lying to me and saying that there's no services here. There are plenty of services here. By the way, we're only 20 minutes into the video conversation with myself and my public pretender. And this is pretty important information, because when he starts talking about the evidence, the judge, the prosecution, he starts talking about his fears that they're going to commit felonies. And he states outright what those felonies are that he believes that they will commit. Holly type, please tell me what's wrong with your car. Fuel pump. It's a Honda Civic. I don't have the ability to fix it myself, and I don't have any money to fix it. I don't have the money for a mechanic or the money to get it towed to a mechanic. There are plenty of people here in town who said that they would help me with it. That was months ago, but they haven't. Holly typed, I'd like you to not go to jail. Well, here's the thing. You have to help me turn in the crimes committed by the police. That shows that what they're doing is retaliating against me for trying to tell them in. Holly typed, I'm a glutton for punishment. Well, so am I, obviously. But here's the thing. I'm taking a beating because I don't have a choice. If you refrain from saying things that are kicks to the teeth, we'll get along just fine. Don't pretend that getting a job is going to fix my situation, or that I can get a job, because I'm not capable, mentally or physically, right now. Holly typed, what do you think that costs? To pay a mechanic to do it, and also pay somebody to move the stuff out of my vehicle and back into my vehicle so there's access, probably about $400. If I had a good back, nothing. The cost of parts. If my back still worked, I know how to bolt and unbolt. That's not a problem. I know how to carry stuff. That's not a problem. But now that I'm not physically able to do those things, it's a very, very major problem. And it's a very major problem that people like Andrew Wolnez are preying on. People like Officer Lothman and Officer Martinez are preying on. Why does it matter what it costs to fix it? I don't have any money. I don't have a mechanic. I don't have any way to receive money electronically. Holly type, why move stuff in and out of it? Because it's fucking evidence that has to be gone through. That's why. Because my car is what I live in. Where do you think all of those 15 bags of evidence are? Do you think it's in my penthouse apartment in Seattle? I'm sorry, I took that question probably a little bit more wrong than I should have. In order to get to the fuel tank, which the fuel pump sits in, you have to lift up the seats, the passenger seats in the back. You have to actually lift those up to gain access to a port that's there that allows you to pull out the fuel pump. The problem is I've got a bunch of stuff on top of my seat that I can't get out of my car because I can't physically lift it. I also don't have anywhere that I can actually set that stuff. They're not going to allow me to set it in the middle of the road. I've been bullied repeatedly for having to work on stuff in parking lots. Meanwhile, most of you have the great idea of, well, why don't you just work on it in the parking lot? Because if I work on it in the parking lot, then whoever it is that owns the parking lot complains, and it gives the police an excuse to come and harass me again. I'm trying not to get harassed. I'm trying not to be abused. Ollie typed, I'll help you, but damn, Monday is court. I'm worried about you. Well, I'm worried about me as well. See, that's the thing about calling 911 and telling them that my life is at risk. Telling them that I'm being abused. Not letting cops talk over the top of it. Refuse to listen to the fact that I'm being assaulted and say I brought it on myself. Now, obviously, if I'm spending a lot of time talking to you on my YouTube, it means that I have no way to contact you otherwise, no way to send you any other kind of evidence. I'm literally stuck with having to communicate over YouTube. It's the only way that you're willing to do it. Now, the problem is, the reason that I'm speaking up on YouTube is because none of my friends would try doing it the other way when I had their numbers. You know how many people I had their numbers but didn't post them up publicly? They wanted me to believe what they said, but then they never came forward with me to the police. Never tried. Holly type, I'd pay for the repair so long as it's $400, but not sure how that could happen if you have no place to put all your stuff. Exactly. See, I don't need people to fix all of my problems one at a time. I need them to recognize that I don't have problems one at a time. By the time somebody gets around to possibly maybe helping me figure out or fill out paperwork for a protection order, I've already been assaulted by that person 30 times. Literally, in the case of wolnez. Yes, him assaulting my vehicle with me, and it does constitute abuse against my person. And that is specifically because of my disabilities. Now, am I trying to pull it that way? No, I'm not. Those rocks hitting my car, most of them didn't impact the car enough to hurt my back. It just pissed me off. Him assaulting me, yeah, that hurts my back like a son of a bitch, and my damage to my back is permanent. I do have a storage facility, but my car doesn't run, so how am I going to drive to the storage facility? My stuff is on the second floor of the storage facility, which means that I have to find a drug addict who's going to make the time, and that's going to cost more money than I have. See, I'm spending all of my money, all of my resources that are supposed to be spent to take care of me and my daily needs. I'm spending all of that money doing what it is that TFCC was supposed to do, what Officer Martinez was supposed to do, what Officer Lothman was supposed to do. Holly typed, I'm worried about you losing your stuff Monday. So am I, and that's the reason for speaking up about it now. Like, my court is on Monday at 1 o'clock to 1:45 is when I have it with wolnez. Meanwhile, both of those situations are together. Like that abuse from them youngins in the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot, and all of the abuse by the police and them youngins since, because I tried to turn them youngins in. That includes Andrew Wolnez at the beginning to his crap. Yes, I understand. I am worried about losing my stuff every single day, not just next Monday, not just on Monday. I have to worry about it tomorrow. I have to worry about it today. I had to worry about it yesterday and the day before and the day before. Meanwhile, you're verifying that it is a valid worry for me to have. Are you helping me to turn in this obviously valid threat to my safety and security and the safety and security of my evidence? You can recognize the issue, just as these people who hate me can recognize where they can exploit me. And rather than understanding that I'm being exploited and how and why, I'm going to be busy answering most of your questions. And you going, oh, I don't understand. I don't understand. You don't understand, huh? Well, that because I'm busy answering your questions instead of busy telling you what's important. I'm the victim. Your questions and insecurities aren't important. Your assumptions are not important. The abuse that I'm going through is important. The evidence is important. My experience is important. If you're not looking at those three things as important, you're not seeing me as the victim, and you're not going to be able to help me because you're not seeing me as the victim. You're not recognizing me as the victim of this abuse. When you're typing to me in my YouTube channel, but you're not making calls with me to turn it into the police, or you're telling me that I can send you evidence, but then you're not turning the evidence into the police or to anyone else. When I say I need you to make calls with me, and you say, oh, well, I'll call this place or I'll call that place. Yeah, this is all stuff that makes it impossible for me. Meanwhile, I get told that I'm not trying. Meanwhile, I'm having to work around other people's schedules and the things that they're doing. Do those people come forward and admit that I was working with them, that I had to work around their schedules, that it was scheduling issues with them that prevented me from getting heard, that I'm being abused to this day because those people's scheduling issues? It's complicated, right? Anyway, as soon as I'm done with the room here, I'm going to have to spend 2 days in my car because the library isn't open on Sunday. Meanwhile, none of you are going to help me turn in any of this abuse. None of you are going to make the calls with me. A lot of people use the excuse of, oh, I'm in a different state. That doesn't matter. That literally does not matter. I'm an at-risk and disabled adult. I'm being harassed in real life and on the internet. Yes, any concerned citizen can help me to turn it in. Matter of fact, I'm kind of pissed off that you guys haven't been trolling the police the way that I've been getting trolled. I'm pissed off that you guys aren't attempting to send this evidence in on your own. Holly typed, did you attack that guy? No, I didn't attack any guy. See, that's the thing about not being violent. I'm not violent. So whatever guy you're talking about, no, I didn't. Did I get attacked? Absolutely. You can see it time and again on my channel. Andrew Wolnez coming up to me and assaulting me. Now, at any point in time, is there any evidence whatsoever of him being assaulted? No, there's not. There's evidence that he's pretending he's being assaulted. Meanwhile, there's evidence of me literally being assaulted by Andrew Wolnez. But that doesn't matter, does it? Because the police don't want to investigate it and you don't want to help turn it in. Now, should I have assaulted him? Well, a lot of people seem to think so. That's one of the things that puts me and a lot of the people who claim that they're going to help me at odds, is that instead of helping me turn it in, they just want to talk about beating him up. Cynthia from the Safeway just wanted to talk about beating him up or having her husband beat him up. Well, that's not cool, and it doesn't stop the abuse. That just made him even more pissed off. I'm the only person here who's not trying to push for violence as a solution in every goddamn thing. Let's see. Well, I typed, too bad you were not closer. I'd let you stay here. Got to go driving. It's snippy out here. Well, not having a place really does suck, but more importantly, not having somebody to call it in with me sucks worse. Anyway, Holly, this video is about exposing my public pretender and the things that he said that show that I won't be allowed an honest day in court. So I'm going to get back to playing that. There's a lot of stuff that I need to do to prepare for court that I'm not able to do. And right now I'm eating up a lot of time that could be used on better things like showing actual evidence. Instead, I'm focusing it on your opinions, which, as you can probably tell, is not really that useful. We need to stick with the facts of what are happening. Holly typed, shorts were a bad decision. Apparently so. Anyway, Holly, you haven't sent me anything to my email address, and I don't have a phone number to contact you with. Like, there's really no reason for me to try to contact you or to converse with you on my YouTube channel. to try to get help if you're not able or willing to talk to me one-on-one. That makes it unsafe because there's a lot of things that I have to say that I can't say on my internet channel. I can't say them because they put myself and others at risk. It's kind of like the situation with you probably shouldn't go into TGI Fridays and make the calls to the Social Security office and give them your Social Security number and all that because you're in the middle of a TGI Fridays. You should probably do that at home while I don't have a home. Anyway, Holly, this is really my only chance before court to try anything, and I'm almost done with the amount of time that I have allotted for this room. I have to go find somebody that I can pay a couple of dollars I don't have so that they can carry my stuff back down to my car. Now, this is the one time in the last 6 weeks that I've been able to do this. And I'm only 20 minutes into the video I'm trying to play. This video that I'm playing right now is my public defender yesterday, and he and I talking. He's literally trying to mansplain me out of a bunch of things, trying to pull the wool over my eyes as far as the courts go and as far as the law goes. He also states very clearly what he's afraid that the DA and the police and the judge are going to do and say. And the things that he states are very specifically felonies.
Insinuating that I'm quote unquote mentally ill. That's why I went to the hospital. That's why I called 211 like I was told to, and 911 like I was told to. When I'm trying to tell them, hey, I'm being abused and there's a safety issue with the police, they're literally talking over me and sending police officers who have intimidated me for trying to turn in these abuses before. Primarily Lothman, but oftentimes Martinez. I've got recording after recording of nearly all of the officers. Literally, when I try to turn in the abuse against those who are deemed mentally ill out here, the people who are actually, so far gone that they're having a lot of major issues and end up getting violence against them, there's officers like Trent Olson saying that they deserved it. No, that's not okay. It's not okay for officers to decide that assaulting a disabled person who is obviously at risk is somehow magically justified or okay. It's not. Now, I know this is a lot of talking, but the thing is, I'm afraid, and I keep having everything postponed over and over and over again until discovery is over. And then because the discovery situation is over, public defenders don't have to show any evidence. They never made any effort to discover it. No matter how many times I tell them it's there or try to show them things like that. One of the police officers' favorite things to do is arrest me on bogus charges right before court. That way I don't have access to any of the evidence to show, or I end up with a public defender and I'm told, oh, well, a public defender can defend you same as anyone else. But they get paid whether they win or lose, and it's my life on the line, my sister's life on the line. There's evidence of that in there too. I'm tired of people threatening to kill me and my friends and family. You can also see in there that people who are trying to get a hold of me are referencing A&E and 2020 and a lot of other things because they still keep making stuff about Natalie despite the fact she was killed in 2017. The history that they're trying to use against me is manufactured, and I have used some of it. They just refuse to document anything I bring to them, and then they pretend in court that I'm schizophrenic or delusional and made it up for dessert. Meanwhile, I'm literally never allowed to face my accusers. It doesn't get that far. I've got public defenders who want to try to bully me into taking plea deals instead of trying to get any of the evidence, trying to talk to any of the witnesses or contact any of them. There's a lot of people who have been witnesses to the abuse. There's also a lot of cameras that should have been requisitioned by the police.
If you're referring to body camera footage of your arrest, that was actually included in the discovery.
I'm not.
See, there's literally hundreds of videos of abuse. It's not just the one of my arrest. And he knew I wasn't referencing the video of my arrest.
talking about the body camera footage of my arrest. I'm talking about the multiple recordings on my YouTube, as well as on other people's YouTubes, as well as at places like Fred Meyer's and Denny's and the hospital. The police refuse to do their job for a disabled homeless man. I'm tired of being assaulted.
Requisition what evidence? The body camera evidence? No, how about the hospital evidence? You get to see in the hospital that they outright assault me. No words are necessary. It's a blatant and outright assault. Meanwhile, because of the abuses of power at the hospital here, it is important that we do record at all times when at the hospital. You are also not required to inform them that you are recording because of safety issues. You are not required to tell them, although I was kind enough to do so. They have repeatedly lied to me about the recording laws at hospitals, and so have the police. I've also had public pretenders who wanted to lie to me and, well, pretend that it's illegal for me to record. It's not.
Having to talk to police officers one-on-one when there's obviously a safety risk there and obviously a conflict of interest, just as there is with the DA's office as well as the county clerk's office. When I've gone in there by myself, they have bullied me in the most severe fashion, and I have gone in with other people, and they're much more civil when I go in with somebody else. They talk to me a little bit better. They still lie to me outright, or send me around in circles, or tell me to go places I've already gone by myself. What they don't do is tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And I'm tired of hearing that too. I'm the only person who does it. If somebody gets on the stand and they outright lie on the stand, and I have evidence that it's an outright lie, who's going to look at it? Meanwhile, I'm still an at-risk adult out here in an at-risk situation, and I can't even turn in mandated reporters because I have to turn them into themselves. That's a conflict of interest. It's always been a conflict of interest, and it is a safety issue, especially when they can just call me mentally ill and play on the badge in order to get away with it. It's not just police officers doing this. It's not just Andrew Wolnez.
This public pretender guy here is going to get into, in just a minute, talking about using the mentally ill thing to prevent me from having my rights and talking about not bringing it up. They're going to bring it up. He knows that the opposition is going to bring it up. He knows how they're going to abuse it. Now, there are very simple steps that he can take to sidestep that and prevent it from actually happening. However, he's not interested in actually defending me. He's not interested in doing anything to stop the abuse. And as a result, I'm still stuck in an abusive situation, which prevents me from being able to take care of myself, protect myself, or defend myself. Meanwhile, you guys want to focus on shit that's not fucking important.
Assaulted. It's not just Andrew Wolnez accusing me of killing people. It's not just Andrew Wolnez who's assaulting me in parking lots. It's not just Andrew Wolnez who's kicking in the side of my vehicle, but I've got videos of him doing all those things. Of him going into Safeway and telling people that I'm a rapist, a child molester, and a killer. You know how people treat me? You ever been treated like a rapist or a child molester or a killer?
Not personally, no.
And that's much of the issue. People blow it off like it's no major thing. And when I show trauma, I get treated horribly over that. I get treated like I'm a mentally ill, dangerous person. When I try to turn in police officers and I'm forced to turn them into themselves, those officers either arrest me on false charges And of course, with my public defenders, not trying to get the body camera evidence or any other evidence for that matter that doesn't fit with the prosecution wants to sell. It's malicious prosecution. Having defenders who are doing that and taking part in that and engaging in not showing up to court, not showing up to appointments, being no call, no show, and giving me horrible legal advice. Meanwhile, all these places that should know the legal protocol for me to turn in people who are harming me are sending me around in circles and playing stupid. That includes the county court window. That includes the sheriff's department. That includes the police department. That includes the state police. Now, the phone call on that particular day, do you think I called up and made those phone calls for no reason?
No, I don't believe you did. No. I think that you do have a defense.
I'm scared and I can't function because I'm scared. And because of my disabilities, coming up here this far hurts me a lot. That's not me blaming you, obviously. There wasn't a whole lot we were able to cover on the phone, especially in as little time as we've had. I used to be a homeless liaison in Boulder, Colorado. I helped people to get disability. I helped people to turn in predators. I helped them to turn in sexual assaults and physical assaults. I was pretty well versed in it in Colorado, and everywhere I go, I do try to make sure that I know what's going on. But the other thing is, I can't function because of the severe amount of trauma that I'm going through. The situation with Andrew Wolnez and having to go through the courts in a civil court when it's obvious that these repeated physical assaults have been, not only have they happened, it's recorded the time and date. The actual video of him doing these things is on the internet. There are literally at least 30 of them where he's beaten on my vehicle or throwing rocks at my vehicle. There's at least 30 of them where he's screaming at me, yelling at me, accusing me of being a child molester and a rapist. I only called him two of the things that he was calling me. He tried to pretend like I was on drugs and a junkie. So I accused him of the same thing, and he didn't like that. He also wanted to tell people I was a pedophile. So I called him a pedophile, and he didn't like that. And I get it, because I've been treated like a pedophile since 2016. All because somebody who was on drugs was embarrassed. Meanwhile, I'm being forced by the police and the mental health services here to peer support to these people literally just talking over me, refusing to look at this stuff and pretending it doesn't exist. Like in their minds, everything I say is some figment of my imagination. I say there's a guy named Andrew Wolnez, and he's trying to pretend like I'm a rapist or murderer. I also have evidence in there, like, of a lot of people doing that. It's not just Wolnez. I mean, altogether, there's probably over 100 assaults that I've had to endure since I moved to Tillamook, and it's like that anywhere I go. I don't get to record all of them. Sometimes it's a one-time chance meeting, and all I can really do is get on the internet and complain about somebody assaulting me because I don't know their name. Chances are I'm never going to see them again. But there's a lot of predators like Andrew Wolnez and James Murphy who they're not going to stop. I live on a fixed income. These officers know it. The courts know it. And they keep talking over that situation. When I go to places like TSC, where I'm told I'm supposed to be able to turn it into them because they're adult protective services. And according to the law, they're supposed to investigate it right away. They're supposed to turn it in right away. And an allegation of abuse against an at-risk adult is enough to begin an investigation. But instead of people beginning an investigation, they play head games and send me to someone else. That's dehumanizing. It's dismissive. And then they make decisions without me, without the right information. Like you're literally the only public defender who has ever sat down and actually listened to what I'm saying.
Let's pause it for a moment.
My entire life.
You get to hear in this, he's actually sort of listening. It's right after this, he starts making lots of really bad suggestions and immoral and illegal suggestions. See, it's his job to defend me, and he's not making any effort. He's trying to scare me. He's utilizing scare tactics. But he talks nice while he does it. God bless America, right? Meanwhile, we got people like Holly. She doesn't give a shit how much I'm abused. She's not going to help me to call in the abuse. She's going to waste my time and pretend like she might help me with other stuff. What are the chances of her actually following through? Next to none. And here we are, still getting the restricted call after restricted call. So what do we do about this? Hey, hello, Andrew Wolnez. We've got you live on my channel.
It's just a piece of paper.
Told you. But we get hung up on him, right? Are any of you going to help call that in? No, you're not. You don't care. Are any of you pieces of shit willing to make a call with me? No, you're not. Because you're pieces of shit. The fact that you still come to my channel but have literally made zero attempt to turn in any of these crimes is what shows that you're a piece of shit. Now, whose fault is it that you're a piece of shit? Is it my fault? No, it's not. I didn't make Lothman a piece of shit. I didn't make Monica a piece of shit. I didn't make Martinez a piece of shit. They made those decisions on their own. Now, Holly types a lot of useless stuff. Too bad you are not closer. I'd let you stay here. Not likely. See, people always say shit like that when they're conveniently at a range, don't they? Kind of like women will volunteer that you're attractive, and if they weren't in a relationship already, they'd date you. No, they wouldn't. They're only saying that because they're already within the safety of a relationship. Otherwise, they'd be trying to cheat on their boyfriend, which obviously ain't the case. And if it is, why the hell would I want her?
I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
I am aware that you've had issues with your previous public defenders. I understand that you have concerns about people talking over you, so I want to make sure that you guys can speak first before I think.
thank you for that. Now, I understand with the civil stuff, that a lot of that stuff you're going to tell me to go civil. The thing is, these are crimes committed against an at-risk adult, not just one, but many. There's a lot of people out on the streets that have the same experiences with these places. I have recording after recording of their eyewitness accounts of the situations. I've also got them talking about their fears of the police and why, which police I need to be afraid of. Martinez has come up more than once. I tried to turn in Ray Rao for the situation. They didn't do anything about Ray Rao until like March or May of last year. I've been trying to turn him in since November of the year before. I've been trying to turn in Martinez. A lot of other people are trying to turn in Martinez too. The situation with me being abused, the cops are the ones telling people I'm one of them murder. They're the ones spreading the slander that's getting these people to harm me to begin with. And the reason the police are doing it is because I'm trying to tell them. I'm tired of being bullied into moving to another place. And when I'm being bullied by people, and then I've got the professionals politely suggesting that I do these things, or literally lying to me about the law, and then telling me they're not allowed to give me legal advice, or literally giving me illegal legal advice, knowing that what they're telling me is wrong. But they just don't want to do their job, or they don't.
And that's the same thing with this guy. He's going to start trying to change the laws or change the situation so that he doesn't have to do anything too.
So
The things that he's going to try to wiggle his way out of, that's coming up here shortly, is literally an entire case worth of evidence, multiple cases worth of evidence. And he's going to try to literally talk out of that, talk out of making any attempt to requisition any of that evidence. Now, he does say that he's going to have an investigator call me, but when? When is this investigator ever going to make an attempt? I've had to deal with the investigators before in Colorado. They literally never show up. They have a 100% ratio of no call, no show. So what the fuck is this dude talking about? Good question. Let's press play.
All this stuff. I also know that we were very successful in Boulder, Colorado with the programs that we had going because our street outreach people, myself included, were sober. We don't do drugs. We don't do alcohol. And we literally went with people to their appointments. We didn't tell them, oh, we'll do one appointment in 30 days, and then we'll do another appointment 30 days after that, because literally you have to turn it in right away, or they're going to let your predator go, realistically. Although for most of the crimes committed against people that we had to turn in, they had up to 18 months to be able to turn them in Colorado. The police, if they refuse to let you turn it in right away, they'll never let you try to turn it in and claim it's good and try turning it in right away. Now, when I try to turn in crimes to the police over me and send me to mental health, that includes when I call 911. Then mental health tells me I got to go to the police. Then the police refuse to do it with the other methods I told you, or they tell me, well, you should have called 911. They're trying to insinuate that I didn't, and they're going to talk over everything that I say just to put in those quick clips that they think magically makes the scenario okay for them to commit these crimes. No, you don't get to change the law in the scenario to fit you being late. That's not how the law works. You don't get to just change the law every time you don't want to do your job. If you tell me that I have to write it down and I have to turn it in person, and I try that and you refuse to take it in person, then you tell me I have to turn that into somebody else who tells me I have to turn it into, and then you tell me I have to do it over the internet. Meanwhile, I don't have the means to do it over the internet, or a safe way to do it over the internet, or the ability to carry my stuff up to the library in order to work on it, let alone carry all of my evidence. Meanwhile, I don't use a cane because of my legs. I mean, I do have leg issues. I use my cane because of my back. People don't see me in a wheelchair, so obviously I'm not disabled enough. People don't see a big tattoo of the word PTSD across my forehead. So they don't care when it comes to the fact that I lived through violence and everybody I go to has violence as their solution. Like, I'm overwhelmed with the number of people who, instead of trying to help turn it in, wanted to talk about getting violent with others. And it scares me. I'm sorry I'm so long-winded, but like I can't just keep taking physical abuse. I literally have issues writing things down because of physical assault by Border Police Department in connection with Natalie's death. With people trying to tell me this stuff doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because they use this stuff against me in court. The police sell their false narrative, and then what they have to say ends up in court and not the actual situation. I actually recorded it. If I don't record it, they tell me they can't do anything because I didn't record it. If I do record it, I end up with people telling me, oh, well, it's illegal to record. No, it's not. People are physically assaulting me often and frequently. They're working together in groups to harass me at night, prevent me from sleeping, and of course, there's those restricted calls over and over again. I can't defend myself against that. I can't get the proper amount of sleep. By the time anybody gets around to doing anything, it's already too late. I didn't call 911, even in reality when I did. The police refused to investigate it. They refused to allow me to turn in something written down. They tell me they can't investigate it until I write it down. But I'm told I have to go to the DA's office and to the victims assistance. And I've talked to them multiple times. They just talk over me too, same as TSCC, Northwest Senior Disability Services. Meanwhile, I get a disability check because I'm disabled. Now, I was forced to move here because of bullying. And then I was forced to become a resident here because of bullying by the police. And there are insinuations that I literally have to be a resident of Oregon or nothing that happens to me is a crime. Like, I'm sick of this. They know what they're saying, and what they're insinuating is BS. They just have zero respect and have shown extreme bias against homeless people. I've seen the homeless people here. I understand why they have the bias. That doesn't mean that every person who comes here is here trying to do drugs and tear up the neighborhood. Now, most of the places where I was cleaning up the neighborhood, I have to be afraid to go because of harm by the public, harm by the police, and harm by the home. Assault isn't civil, those are criminal. Abuse of power is criminal, especially when it's done so grossly and profusely. I mean, these guys don't hold anything back, and they're doing it blatantly and openly. Like, they have no fear of repercussions for this. Officer Martinez showing up and just talking over me, showing absolutely no respect for me, saying, Sean, 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 Sean. That's not finding out what's going on. That's preventing me from making an oral report. Meanwhile, I have difficulties making written reports, but I still have hundreds and hundreds of written reports in my car, by the way. Nearly all of them on the wrong piece of paper. That was used as an excuse not to listen to it or pay attention to it and pretend I never tried to turn it in. It's on the wrong parchment. So, I have to be afraid of my car getting towed. I can't fix it. I'm told by places like TFCC, after they've wasted days or even months of my life going there, that their service is free. Well, no, it's not. It eats up my time. It eats up my money. And people like the police tell me that they're not going to do anything or try anything until TFCC decides. Well, TFCC says it's not their decision. It's the cops' decision. TFCC says they can't look at any evidence. Cops say they can't look at any evidence. And I've tried to show my public defenders evidence, and they all refuse to look at it. There's a lot more evidence than this. I've gone through these assaults since 2016, October of 2016. Natalie was killed in December of 2017. I was trying to get a protection order against her and her friends and family who were assaulting me, threatening me, and intimidating me, not just on the internet, but also in real life. Also, because of my disabilities, I was in assisted living. My disabilities have only gotten worse, and I haven't been able to have my own doctor since Natalie's death because of constantly being bullied by law enforcement, the local community, and the movement again and again and again. Does this make sense?
Yes. Are you finished right now?
I got a lot more to say, but I figured I'd let you speak.
First, here is the evidence in your case, if you haven't already received it.
There's a lot more evidence than that.
This is what has been disclosed by the state, and this is what your attorneys have provided to me. This is what the state has disclosed. It's the state's evidence.
Yes, sir.
We have other things that we need to present as well. Before I get distracted, I do want to mention that, as I promised, here are a list of attorneys who deal with civil rights, disability, and personal injury matters. I don't know how helpful they'll be for you, but it's better than having none.
Well, I've got literally hundreds of phone numbers that I call, and that's one of the things that makes it so that I can't function. I have to make these calls alone when I should have either an advocate or a friend or family member helping me with it. All of the people who are supposed to be advocates kept on wanting to send me to friends and family. My friends and family kept on wanting to send me to the advocate, and literally it's just been me being, I feel like a ping pong ball or somebody playing Chinese checkers with me. I'm just being bounced around from one place to another.
Now, I understand your concern about turning in the police officers because of their corruption, and I would absolutely support you in that. Unfortunately, there is very little that can be done on the state level. The State Department of Justice doesn't seem to have a way to easily report problem officers. Fortunately, the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division does have more information. This is a printout of their main webpage regarding how to file a civil rights violation report.
Yes, sir.
Again, it's complicated, and I'm sorry I can't make it more simple, but this more or less spells out the guidelines of what to do if you want to turn in a corrupt police officer.
Yes, sir. I've actually read through that and tried to go through, but I never get past the phone call. As far as being able to do it on the internet, I can't. I literally can't without assistance. That's why there's supposed to be people to help me because I am disabled. It is documented. That's one of the things with the fact that the 911 call and the abuse from the police, these are not isolated instances. I was literally calling for a reason. And it included the situation that Andrew Wolnez was abusing me over to begin with, which is those youngins not leaving me alone, threatening me, harassing me, assaulting my vehicle repeatedly, and the police not doing anything about it. In those calls, and there's more than just the ones that they have, it shows that like literally December 14th, October 14th, it shows that those youngins were throwing stuff at my vehicle. They were throwing pumpkins, they were throwing eggs. Yes, sir. October 14th through 16th, they were throwing everything. October 14th through, even just a couple of days ago, they were throwing stuff at my vehicle. So I really can't say when it stopped because it hasn't. They keep driving by my vehicle still and screaming the N-word. It's very malicious, and I do scream and I do curse, but I don't curse unless I literally have to curse.
Sir, are you currently on SSI?
I am.
Okay, well, the disability attorney that I mentioned here, I believe she specializes in SSI. So
They specialize.
She might be able to help you a little more than
Literally all of them. What they focus on is just getting disability. Now she might be able to help, but the reason that I'm telling you this stuff is because it is important and pertinent by my case and my situation.
Yes. The reason I also say that is that she may be able to get you in touch with resources specifically for people like you who need someone to help walk them through it.
Yes, sir. And the thing is that what they're likely to do is send me to the FCC, and the FCC is likely to send me to local police. The safety issue with the police needs to be addressed because I can't keep taking abuse just because the police are the way they are. It's not just the corruption, it's the fact that they're literally harming me to the point that I have to call 911 and curse at 911.
Make sure that you emphasize that you can't go to TFCC or police. Just make it very clear that there are some places that you can't go to.
I've attempted that and been talked over, and that's what most of my recordings are. There are so many recordings that it takes forever to go through them, and it's impossible to do so on my phone to go through that many recordings.
I'm just saying if you decide to contact this person. Now, in regards to how to proceed, The state did make an offer, which is at the end of the packet I gave you. However, I believe, have you already reviewed it?
Let me guess, 2 years of BS and some classes. It's not gonna happen. I can't afford to take care
Okay.
of myself.
I just want to
They're
make sure that
taking
you,
advantage of my
That's the
disability.
That's the
That's financial.
that's the witness list. The offer is actually right before that.
All right.
But yeah, you're right. It
The
is-
last lady,
it's 2 years of BS. I
Miss
get it.
Miss Long was trying to say that there were 0 witnesses. She didn't bother to find out what's going on. She just told me what she was gonna do and wanted to bully me into going the direction she wanted. She didn't meet with me beforehand. She wanted to talk over me on the phone, and then I literally met her right before court. They made a lot of decisions in that courtroom that shouldn't have been made and have resulted in more abuse against me. I'm still an at-risk adult. I'm still being abused. It is still often and frequent, and I literally can't put a stop to it myself. The police have shown that they're not willing to, and any of these places that I have to try to get a hold of, like I can't keep making these phone calls. I've been doing this since 2016. Okay, if I call all of these people, I still don't have the ability to do all of the things that I'm being asked. With my disabilities, as far as electronics go, I've had to pay a lot of shady people to help me to use the electronics. Police have bought me off on places like TFCC and places like Seventh-day Adventist Church, where people like Nicole Verner, who is a mandated reporter, wanted to pawn me off onto Brian, who's a drug addict, and all he did is take advantage of me. There's multiple cases that have been in the newspaper here that I had direct involvement with, or at least with the people involved. People like the guy who drove through the airport out there for the Air Museum. That was because of me being pawned off on Brian that I was even in that situation. Meanwhile, multiple people that were in that situation told me what happened with them. Like that guy who was in the vehicle with Mr. Woods at the time. He's spoken with me about it. Also, a lot of the homeless people were coming up to me, just as they did when the police were running around saying that I was wanted for murder. They're also coming up to me and telling me that Andrew Wolnez is threatening to kill me and a lot of other things. Like, I am scared to the point I can't function. I am physically disabled to the point that I can't do any of the things that I'm being asked to do. And these things need to be acknowledged by the courts. That's why I brought in the evidence that I have. The other thing is I've got a lot more evidence that shows the police literally tried to have me diagnosed as schizophrenic for trying to turn them in. That's the reality of me being forced to turn in Officer Lothman, or Martinez into Martinez, or Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Chapel, Nebraska, into Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Chapel, Nebraska, is that they're going to abuse their power. And then when I'm forced to go to them about all of the crimes that are committed by the community, they're not going to bother to do their jobs because they know that I've tried to trump them and I'm still trying to trump them. Like, they're abusing the crap out of their power everywhere. And then, of course, this reputation that's there because my rights in court have always been violated comes back to bite me in the butt in every court date.
All right, we can proceed to trial if you don't want to make any bargains. I perfectly understand. Now,
I'm still disabled, and the courts need to acknowledge that before we proceed with any of that other stuff. But go ahead.
what? Let me phrase this way. If the courts acknowledge that you are disabled, what would that mean?
Well, sir, it would mean things that I've been saying all along are true, and that the things that the police and these other predators are doing are illegal. It is harmful, and what they're doing is also preventing me from having an honest court date.
Okay. If the court acknowledges that you are disabled, that would not automatically mean that they will accept everything you have ever said is true.
So I'm not asking them to accept everything I ever said is truthful. I'm asking them to accept the evidence as the truth. It's actual evidence. It's not just my word that it happened. It's actual evidence of the event. And the thing that I'm asking is for the courts not to just believe anything that these other people say, to actually look at evidence and acknowledge that evidence. That includes the evidence of my abuse, because if they're able to deny me my rights as a human being by calling me mentally ill, then they need to allow me the rights of someone who's quote unquote mentally ill.
Yes, if we do try to make a big deal of being disabled in court, we may run into some issues there, because they may insist that you are unable to aid in your defense, and that would result in things being prolonged. It might mean that you are put in touch with mental health services, but that's probably not going to help you.
Well, that's the thing about it being a conflict of interest. Anything that they're going to tell me to do is a conflict of interest at this point.
Okay, so
Who am I going to go to that hasn't already broken the law against me?
So, in order to go over how we're going to go about your defense, there is a bit of complication here. Now, please wait until I am finished before responding, because I do think that we do have a chance of getting point. I do not think this is a lost cause. Now, on its face, the evidence against you does not look good. What they are charging you with is misuse of 911. That is, calling 911 when there is not an imminent emergency that you understand would result in loss of life or damage of property if it is not immediately resolved. The problem here is that you hear this on the report, on your report, on the 911 recording. You were in your car, I believe, when you were making these calls, correct?
Yes, sir.
No one was attacking you at the time.
Sir, according to the law, if I'm being abused and I have to get away from my abuser before calling 911,
When was the last time you were assaulted?
I think it was about 20 to 30 minutes prior to the call.
Okay, so you were attacked 20 minutes before making the call. Who attacked you?
It was those youngins throwing things at my vehicle. I believe on that particular occasion, it was pumpkins, it might have been eggs and toilet paper, but they were also throwing harder objects and heavier objects. The whole side of my vehicle is being named from Andrew Wolnez. But it's not just Andrew Wolnez, it's also those youngins who still haven't stopped. I've tried to turn them in repeatedly. The police refuse. They talk over me and send me to mental health.
Let's see. Now, between that assault, 20 minutes before you called 911, and you calling 911, did you record anything on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I recorded all the calls.
I had your channel
I'm
pulled up
told,
right here.
yeah, I'm told to call a bunch of different places. Just like you just gave me a whole list of like 30 phone numbers. That's what everybody's help is to send me to phone numbers who send me to someone else with a bunch of phone numbers. Like that's literally been the last 7 years of my life. Call a bunch of phone numbers until I'm bullied into moving to somewhere else. You also might have noticed that there's literally thousands of videos to go through.
I have noticed that you do have a lot of videos. I did watch several in preparation of this meeting, just to make sure that I understood the basics of the situation. I'm trying to see.
I'm being abused, and me calling nicely to 911 results in me being talked over. The thing is, with 911, this is ongoing. The moment that they hear anything about the police or TFCC or any other service here doing wrong things, they start playing stupid, talking over me and giving me bad legal advice, and then telling me they can't give legal advice.
All right, Holly's back. Holly typed back in black. I had to blast music and drive because, well, reasons. I love music, Sean. Well, good music. I love music too, but I have to use my phone for those things, which help to calm me down, which eats up battery and prevents me from having battery when I'm assaulted. I have to worry about little things like that because none of you are going to make the calls with me. What you're going to do is you're going to look up a number that I've already called and tell me to call them by myself. When I am harmed, I need someone to call it in with me. That's what I need. Holly type, one day I will share some music with you. I don't need you to share fucking music with me. That doesn't do me any good. That doesn't help me turn in the assaults. That doesn't help me turn in the crimes. That doesn't allow me to have enough battery or a place where I can sit down and listen to music and just enjoy myself because I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. Thank you for the offer, but I'd rather you shared evidence. We're 55 minutes and 55 seconds into this recording, and it's an hour, 32 minutes and 46 seconds long. The video here is already over 2 hours long. How are you going to share music with me? You going to send it over emails? You going to tell me what your favorite songs are? You going to type it in the comments? You're not helping me to turn it in, and you're not trying to understand why I can. Holly types, has that guy bothered you since I've been away? It doesn't matter if he's bothered me since you've been away. The fact is, it keeps happening. Yes, he's called repeatedly while you've been away. Over and over and over again. Yes, he keeps on bothering me. The other thing is, I still need to be able to turn in the assaults. I still need to be able to turn in the assaults safely, and you're not going to help me do that. You're going to change the subject. It doesn't matter if he's bothered me since you've been away. The fact is he's still doing it, and he's been doing it because nobody is helping me to turn it in. You see, he's calling again, over and over again, restricted number. You're not going to help turn it in. If you don't do bad shit, you don't have to worry about your number being given out. Just don't lie to me. Don't take advantage of me, and don't procrastinate. See, that's the thing, Holly. This whole time that you've been on my channel witnessing this stuff, you could have made an effort. This entire time, you could have made an effort to turn it in, and you're not. None of you ever do. Not one person from YouTube has ever made an honest effort to turn any of this shit in. Every single one of them has been a lying piece of shit. You don't stop for one moment while you're bitching about your fears. What about mine? Mine are legitimate. Yours are bullshit. All the people who got their numbers exposed on my channel did wrong shit. Are you planning on doing wrong things to me? Are you planning on doing harmful things to me? Holly typed, I'm worried about Monday. Yeah, me too. Because for the last 8 years, nobody has helped me to turn this stuff in. Oh, you're worried? You're worried? No, you're not. If you were worried, you'd help me turn it in. No matter what, the cops are just going to talk over me. That's why you're supposed to have a friend or family member there, and you're supposed to record it. Holly typed, why did you call 911 and cuss them out? First of all, I didn't cuss them out. And second of all, I already told you why I called 911, you fucking twit. Now you're just being an asshole. How about stop being an asshole? I called 911 because I was being fucking harassed, stupid. I've already explained that. Now here you are, you asked the same question 300 fucking times. It doesn't matter how many times I answer it, you're still going to treat me like I'm a retard. You don't like being called names? Stop treating me like I'm a retard. Stop making it about you and actually listen to the words coming out of my mouth. When I've answered something over a dozen times, asking me again is only going to result in you being called names. You've showed you're not interested in helping turn it in. You're not interested. You're interested in wasting time getting attention for you. Well, we're making that attention for you again, Holly. We're making the attention for you. We're making the time to answer your questions. And that includes also making time to call you names. Holly type, I've offered to pay your car repairs. Holly, I need help turning in abuse. Are you going to make calls with me to set up to get my car fixed? Because that requires the same goddamn thing. Your fucking phone number. You're not trying to help me. Offering to do something with no way to do it is not helping. That's not offering to help. Holly type, but there's too much crap in it, you said. How about just stop fucking typing? If you're not willing to talk to me one-on-one and you're just going to type over and over and over again, you're going out of your way to do something you know to be antagonistic. No, there's not too much stuff in my car to fix it. There's too much stuff in my car for me to fix it because I am disabled. You reinterpreting every goddamn thing I say into whatever the fuck you want it to shows what a piece of shit you are. I don't give a fuck what your favorite song is. I give a fuck about turning in the abuse. Something you don't give a shit about. You're worried about Monday? No, the fuck you're not. You're typing pretty shit because you're a piece of shit. If you were actually worried about Monday, you would fucking get off your ass and help me to turn it in. It's stupid. You know what's abusive? Repeatedly interrupting someone when you know that it is harmful. Repeatedly going out of your way to change the subject when you know that it's harmful. You are not trying to help me out. Typing that I'm flipping out, no, fuck you, Holly. Get the fuck off my goddamn channel. Get the fuck out of here. I'm fucking tired of this shit out of you. Don't type that you'll stop. You've typed that before. You have literally not been able to stop yourself from being a fucking... God damn it. Between listening to me and arguing with people who are obviously trolls, which you choose to do. You argue with the trolls. You type that I'm flipping the fuck out. Well, you're not fucking helping. You're wasting my goddamn time. It's not about my experience. It's about your questions, your curiosities, your imagination, the things that you fucking assumed. You see this? Are you helping to turn this in? Huh? Are you helping to turn in the assaults? No, that's what I need help with. Anything else is a waste of my fucking time. When would you even get around to having the time to keep your word to help fix my car? Just because there's problems doesn't mean fucking quit. How about recognize that there's a goddamn problem instead of making me repeat 30 times what the issue is? If I ask you not to do something, the first thing you're going to do is exactly that over and over and over again. It's antagonistic as fuck and you know it. We have to call the state trooper's office and we have to do it together. That's the thing, is that if you do it by yourself, you have to show proof that you did so. You have to literally record it and send me evidence that you did so. Or you have to call in with me. Are you going to call in with me? Are you going to send me any of that? No, you're literally giving me no way to contact you or talk to you except on my YouTube channel. You were expecting me to trust you when you were giving me literally no reason to trust you. It's not just the abuse by Wolnez. It's also the abuse by those police. And it is happening, and it does need to be turned in. Now, at this point, the state troopers, the sheriff's department, and the police department have committed crimes against me, but the state troopers are the lesser of three evils. I don't need 10,000 reasons not to try. That doesn't stop abuse. I don't have any friends that aren't backstabbers. Because I'm different, I'm basically stuck with the bottom of the barrel. The only people who pretend that I'm a human being are drug addicts and homeless people. Oh, and alcoholics. The people who come to my YouTube channel only come here for entertainment. There's a lot of people, you want to be angry that I'm some sort of a bad person because I cursed? Why am I cursing? Does talking nicely get me heard? No, it gets me talked over. It gets everything that I say dismissed. People blow off literally everything that I say as if it's not a problem, unless I fucking curse at them and tell them what pieces of shit they are. That's stupid. I shouldn't have to curse. Like here I am, fucking 8 years. All the way since 2015, I have begged for someone to help stop the abuse. See, the abuse by police didn't start with Natalie. Police treat all homeless people like this, especially homeless men. Natalie's death just made it 100 times worse. It's not complicated. I've given you my email address multiple times. You can contact with me through email. That's not a problem. It's an issue with my phone. I still have to find internet access in order to do that. Whereas if it was just a phone call, I can receive that easy. Now, as far as name calling goes, I do a lot of name calling, and I'll do a lot more of it. If I'm trying to tell you how you can help me and you're busy going off on a tangent, it's awful difficult for me to believe that you're going to help me because you're going off on a tangent. I especially don't like being treated like I'm retarded. I generally tell people who treat me like I'm retarded that they are retarded. I find it insulting as all hell. The issue here is procrastinating and blowing smoke up my ass. You got to hear in the conversation with Teresa, she just blew smoke up my ass. Nothing better to do with her time. Holly, here's the one that typed that she sounded drunk. Yeah, it's Teresa. She always sounds drunk. She also wants to change the subject, make everything about her, and show that she's selfish. That doesn't show that she cares about me. That shows she cares about her. She doesn't want to take any responsibility for her choices or actions. No, when she does something mean, it's all my fault, isn't it? I need someone to turn in the assaults by Andrew Wolnez with me. And I need them to explain that the police here have repeatedly gone out of their way to not only take part in the assaults, and they have, although officers have not physically assaulted me with these individuals, they've gone out of their way to incite the violence against me, as well as gone out of their way to look the other way to the violence. The guy who keeps calling me, this is Andrew Wolnez, the guy who keeps assaulting me, the guy I had to get a protection order against. Meanwhile, I was illegally prevented from getting protection orders against villains like Scott DaCosta, Waylon Lolatai, Clearview Behavioral Health. I also have a lot of people like Holly that show up. The last one before her was a guy named Scott Shaw, who was full of shit. There's also one calling himself Iron Horse Tate, who is full of shit. If you're going to pay my car bill to get it fixed, it's going to cost the same structural stresses that you are worried about when it comes to turning in predators. Phone number, address. How are we going to communicate to make that happen? Holly typed, how do you know it's Andrew? You've typed that repeatedly, Holly. Are you fucking retarded? I have explained to you over and over why I know it's Andrew. The fact that you keep typing the same retarded questions over and over again shows that you're not listening. I answered this yesterday and the day before for you. I've answered this repeatedly. Holly, he is the culprit. Stop typing that he may not be. You're not listening to me. What you're doing is going out of your way to be contrarian and be a piece of shit. I've answered the goddamn phone. It's his fucking voice on the other end, you fucking retard. He got my phone number from the courts, and this shit started immediately after that. And I have answered it repeatedly and heard his voice on the other end, you fucking retard. How many times do I have to tell you you're a fucking retard before you realize, hey, maybe you should stop being a fucking retard? How do I know it's him? Because it's his voice. Because of when it started. Because of why it started. How the fuck do I know that it's him? Because I answer the phone and I can hear his voice on the other end. How do I know it's him? How about you stop being a fucking retard? How about instead of typing careful blaming people, I have evidence before I blame you, idiot. Just like I have evidence that you're an idiot before I call you an idiot. If I have to repeat the same thing 30 times and you're still going to ask me again, you're a fucking idiot, Holly. Don't type, well, hey now. Stop being a fucking idiot and listen. How do I know that the people who fucking assaulted me are Andrew? Because I have it on fucking film, dipshit. It's not just the restricted fucking call, dipshit. I'm trying to turn in actual fucking assaults, dipshit. You don't like being called names. I don't like being talked over. And you're obviously showing that anything that I say, you're going to ignore or forget in 30 seconds. And you're going to go back to asking questions that you want to know about. It's got nothing to do with what's going on right now. And I am taking my time to give you the time of day, despite the fact that you obviously don't actually care about me as a person or my safety. You type about it. But what you're showing is that you don't care. You're going to treat me like I'm a fucking retard and type over anything that I say and be contrarian no matter what I say. What's the point in me fucking typing? What's the point in me trying to get help from you when you are literally going out of your way to not be helpful? Holly types, I wonder if Andrew is this mean. Fuck you, Holly. Andrew's been assaulting me. Nobody's fucking assaulting your bitch ass. Oh. Am I being too
It's a
loud?
little too loud, yeah. and they
Yes,
can be-
ma'am.
They can be at the desk, so.
Yeah, that's one of the things cops keep trying to tell me that these rooms are soundproof. They're
They're
not.
not.
Thank you, ma'am. Holly types, you're so mean. No, you're mean. You're dismissive. You're cruel. You're a fake. You know what's mean? Pretending to care about somebody. You know what's mean? Going out of your way to make excuses to look the other way when somebody's being abused. The problem here isn't that I'm mean. It's that you're a woman and you're self-centered and you're spoiled and you're stuck up and you want everything your own way right now. You're not going to get your own way. We're not answering any more of your questions. You've had plenty of opportunity to try being a good person, and you're not. You're not a good person. I'm not being mean by telling you you're not a good person. I'm not being mean by telling you that you're being dismissive. And you don't want to be called names. You don't want to be called stupid, idiot, retard, any of that. Don't treat me like I am stupid, an idiot, or a retard. What you're going out of your way to do is to have an argument on Facebook or YouTube. This is for entertainment. This has nothing to do with doing the right thing. You are not going to make a single effort to turn in any of this. You've been here over a week. You've been watching it over a week, and you've done nothing to turn it in. Only type courtesy then, I guess. Please just finish your story. Well, thank you. It's not just a story. It's the abuse that I'm enduring. Now, regardless of whether or not it's Andrew every single call, the fact is the majority of them are Andrew. He is recorded doing this over and over and over again. What I'm asking you to do is to help turn it in, not to ignore it, not to make 10,000 suggestions of doing other things, and not forcing me to do this in the library, which is inappropriate. Also, when I tell you something is harmful and you do it over and over and over again, even and especially after you've acknowledged how harmful it is, and you're still going to do it over and over and over again, no, I'm not going to believe you, and I'm not going to say nice things. See, my story isn't just the abuse that I've gone through, it's the neglect that I have to endure. And the people who pretend to care. Don't pretend to care. You do or you don't. Do you care that I'm being abused or not? If you're not trying to help stop the abuse, what you're doing is helping to push me to suicide. One or the other, which is it? Are you trying to push me to kill myself? Or are you trying to help stop the abuse? One or the other. There is no in between. You either care or you don't. Do you care that I'm being harmed or no? Do you care that people assault me repeatedly or no? Are you going to literally ignore everything that I've gone through and make excuses for my predators? Or are you going to try to understand where I'm coming from and speak out? And that's where everybody has an issue. They can't get their assumptions out of their head long enough to listen to the person who's actually going through it. I spend so much time pausing for people who promise that they're going to help, but then I have to stop repeatedly because they're typing up a bunch of stuff that is wrong. "55 minutes and 55 seconds into playing the recording for my public pretender yesterday. Now I've spent about 30 minutes talking to Holly. because Holly isn't willing to talk to me like I'm a human being. She wants to be as dehumanizing as possible. This is horrible. She wants to have her say so. Meanwhile, she's not even a real person. Her name is not really Holly. She's got a first, middle, and last name just like the rest of us. She's got a phone number. She's an actual human being on the other end. But that's not what I have here. What am I going to show? Oh, some lady named Holly was typing that she was gonna. That doesn't help me. Basically, what I have to show for the most part out of Holly is her bossing people around. Don't do this and don't do that. They're not going to listen to that stuff. Instead of trying to control chat like that, try listening. Instead of asking 10,000 questions about the stuff that you want to know about, keep in mind you're asking the same questions repeatedly. You've already asked those questions of me and I've already answered them. When you're asking me that question again, and then you're going to interrupt me in the middle of the answer for some quick idea that you had to fix it, it doesn't work. Now, I've given you my email address. You've wasted my time. I have to pay people to carry my computer here so that I can do this, and I can't do that very often. And right now, I'm wasting time. I need to find someone who's going to make the goddamn calls with me. If you're not going to do that, you're not real. You're not interested in helping. You're a fake person with a fake account. See, the difference between you and I is that I allow you to defend yourself. You're typing this stuff up here. All stuff about you being defensive. You don't like that I'm calling you names. You're allowed to not be happy about me calling you names. Now, there's a reason I'm not going running around screaming about you being a pedophile. Because I don't know you. I don't know if you're a pedophile. And making false accusations is fucked up. Now, when people are making false accusations against you and using them as an excuse to assault you, by all means, call them the same name back. Those of you who want to pretend that the repeated harassment by the youngins, it's not just the N-word, it's also a lot of anti-Semitic stuff and a lot of anti-LGBT stuff. It's a lot of fucking abuse. And for you to go, oh, well, you're not black, does that fucking matter? If I beat the fuck out of a black man and call him honky, does that make it okay? If I drive by a black man's house 50 times, squeal my wheels, and screaming honky out the window at him, does that make it okay? Is it not a hate crime because I called him a honky instead of the N-word? How about use some common sense here? You interrupt over and over and over again, and then you type, well, go ahead and tell your story. And then the trolls get on and they type a bunch of mean stuff, and you want to type with them about stop typing, STFU. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you typed to those trolls that if I'd have said those things or typed those things, I'd be in jail right now. The fact that YouTube gives me the option of allowing that to be seen or not is pretty much the only saving grace. I get that you wanted him to stop. I want him to stop too. You're allowed to get frustrated with him, and you exhibited a lot of frustration in what you were typing. But I'm not allowed to get frustrated. You were frustrated with what they were doing. I was frustrated with what they were doing. I was also frustrated with what you were doing. I do call names. That's absolutely true. Only when it's necessary to be heard. Obviously, since nothing is being done about the abuse, it does make it necessary to be heard. And then you pretend like I'm a bad person because I cursed. Oh God, I cursed at you. I cursed at 911. I cursed at the cops. I cursed at a lot of people. Don't do harmful shit. You won't get cursed at. Don't pretend to care if you're going to give me every excuse.
For trying to pawn me off on 988 suicide hotline over and over and over again. Like I said, they're playing ping pong with me. They're taking advantage of my disabilities, my assumptions of my disabilities. I'm autistic, not retarded. I have PTSD. It's not delusion.
All right, Holly typed, I'm not a pedo, WTF. Oh, exactly. Does it matter? Does it matter if you're a pedophile or not? No, it doesn't. Nobody cares that I'm not a pedophile. Nobody cares that I'm being assaulted, and the people assaulting me are pretending I'm a pedophile as their excuse. None of you care about that. I don't care if you're a pedophile or not. I don't know you. If you admitted to being a pedophile right now on my YouTube channel, there's nothing that I can do about it. And how do I know? Because many of my trolls have gotten onto my channel and typed exactly that in the chat, claiming that they're pedophiles, bragging about being pedophiles. YouTube doesn't care. The police don't care. So you typing that you're not a pedophile, nobody would care if you were. YouTube doesn't care if you are. The police don't care if you are. They only care if you tell on them. Now for you, obviously you don't want to be called a pedophile, right? Now imagine if I did go running around telling everybody that you know that you're a pedophile. Are any of those people going to look it up to try to find out if it's true or not? How many people actually will, and how many people are going to judge you right off the start? Meanwhile, you're a woman, so the chances of people beating you up over it are non-existent, or damn near non-existent. But as a man, somebody pretending that you might do such a thing is enough for people to beat you and kill you. What's Andrew Wolnez using as his excuse for assaulting me repeatedly? Pretending I'm a pedophile, pretending I'm a rapist, pretending I'm a murderer. Does that make it okay for him to assault me? Does it? See, well, my predators claim that they're afraid that people will treat them the way they treat me. Nobody is treating them the way that they treat me. And Holly, I don't care if you're a pedophile or not, because I don't know who you are. I have no way to turn you in if you're a pedophile. I have no contact information. The same contact information that you would need in order to help me turn this in, it's the same contact information that you'd need to pay my bill to get my car fixed. You would have to coordinate with me to do that. Holly types, stop calling them. You're in a risky dink town. It doesn't matter where I go, Holly. That's the part that you're missing. It doesn't matter where I go. Instead of telling me not to call them with me. Try that. Has one person ever in the history of this actually tried that? No. No, they don't. Their idea of helping is getting me a phone number. Oh, I found this number. That's helped. These people will help you. No, they won't. And instead of telling me stop calling them, well, how am I going to get this abuse to stop? How? How do I get the assaults to stop? How do I get the financial abuse to stop? Or the abuse by law enforcement to stop? By turning it the fuck in, God damn it. Instead of telling me not to call them, how about try calling them with me? Holly, I really want you to just leave my channel and leave me alone. That is legitimately what I would like from you. I would like you to stop pretending you care. Stop wasting my precious time because I can't get this back. If you're not going to help turn in the assaults that I've had to endure, you don't care about me.
It's not schizophrenia. Now, police officers in Colorado decided that they had the right to diagnose me as schizophrenic, and police officers, or sorry, not police officers, the hospital, the nurse in specific, wrote down what they said. It's the hospital paperwork itself, and I have read it, and I do have it. It shows that the doctors themselves said that they didn't see or observe any of those kind of behaviors. They were just taking the word of the police. The police stated outright that they were just taking the word of a woman named Kara Johnson Miles. Kara Johnson Miles was a woman who pretended to be an autism advocate who was going to help me over the abuse of Natalie Volunger's situation. It turned out that she was just some crazy web sleuth lady from Texas. Her words were allowed in my court date, and I wasn't even allowed to go to my court dates or see any of the evidence or confer with my lawyer. That follows me everywhere too.
Here, we'll block one of Holly's comments so she knows that we're capable.
When the crimes are committed, I'm supposed to go to a friend or family member to turn it in right away.
Remove.
I've tried to turn it in right away by
Typed,
myself.
it wouldn't happen. People know me. See, it's not about me. It's about her. It's about showing how spoiled she is, how condescending she is. It's about making everything about her. People know me, but I have a dick. Holly is not paying any attention to that. It doesn't matter if people know you or not. When you have a penis, your guilt is assumed. Holly has a vagina. If she literally has sex with an underage child, she will serve on average 8 months. That's for actually having sex with an underage child. So if she were to have sex with an underage child, how much time would she get? Probably 8 months. How much time have I served for people pretending that I'm a pedophile? How many assaults have I endured because of people pretending I'm a pedophile? Meanwhile, Holly's only here for entertainment and to be a troll. She doesn't care about the abuse. The things that she is claiming that she would do, is she actually going to do those things? No, she is not. She has made literally zero attempt to do any of those things. She claims she made an account so she could coordinate with me over, not YouTube, emails. She hasn't sent not even a goddamn thing over emails. And then here at the bottom, read my other texts. LOL, you're not reading all my texts. Again, making it about you. You don't give a shit about me. You're a trashy excuse for a human being. You've done nothing but waste my time. And you did it for attention. Not for attention because you're being harmed, but just for attention's sake. Pathetic. See, this is one of the things. I'm tired of Holly's. People like Holly. You don't get to be involved unless you have a first and last name and a fucking phone number. I have to go to YouTube because nobody in real life is going to do anything about the abuse. Not without one of you people being something other than a piece of shit like Holly. She's typed lots of stuff. She has literally made zero effort to help. Now, of course, Holly doesn't have to endure what it's like being treated like a pedophile. And even if she did rape a child, she still wouldn't go through as much abuse as I have. Now, thank goodness she typed okay bye. That's the first intelligent thing that she's typed in a while. If you're not going to help, don't pretend that you will. I don't have time for your bullshit.